Okay, who has a node? Show of hands. Who wants to build a node? Okay, perfect. So this is definitely the best route ever. We are here to tell you don't trust Ledger. So that's actually pretty easy. And I will leave you to my friend Adrien to show you how it is possible. If you don't remember anything, well, we have a Discord server. So at the end of this talk, you can reach out to us. We can walk you through the code yourself. And so yeah, just remember to take a snapshot of our emails or just talk to us. I would not be wearing the shirt. This is too cold for me. I'm also Brazilian, so I can't wait to put my sweater back. And Adrien, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you.
And
Hi,
if you
everyone.
need to ask questions, I'll be down here, so with the microphone.
Yes, please. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me. I prefer to take questions on the fly. If I will answer them later on the presentation, I will just kindly ask you to wait, but feel free to stop me. So here's Rod, our head of developer relationship, and I'm Adrien, both working for Ledger. And yeah, today the topic is please don't trust us, and we will give you the tools and explain how to use them so that you don't have to trust us. So why are we doing this, right? This is the first questions. When you buy a Ledger product, you kind of assume we are doing a good job at what we do, so you might keep on going with the trust you started to give us, use our software, which is called Ledger Live. But as you know, in the Bitcoin community, we always say don't trust, verify. And so we want to give you the tools to minimize the trust you have to put in Ledger to use our product, right? So when you download Ledger Live, which is our software, you rely on our infrastructure, right? Because we want to make the UX great. We want to make it easy, especially for new people in the industry. So the goal is to to minimize the friction. We want people to be onboarded in a very nice and easy way to the Bitcoin world, right? So we offer this opportunity, but at the same time, we know that once you go down the rabbit hole, you will learn more. It's a path, it's a journey. Everybody doesn't start at the same time, and at some point, I hope that you will reach the state of understanding that you should not trust us. Really, it's don't. And when you feel ready, when you feel comfortable, take the actions that I will show you today, so that technically speaking, this will become a reality. Feel free to trust us at the start. It's no harm. You just have to trust us that we are doing a good job, and Rod and I are doing it. But if you feel you need to take this step, take it, and we will take it together. So yeah, we rely on our infrastructure, and you need to prepare, right? You need to prepare for scenarios such as law enforcement going down on us, right? We are a French company, we are based in Paris. If law enforcement want to deal with us in a specific way, they will do us. I think it was in Canada during some freedom convoy, they go down on banks, and even if you were helping the cause, just supporting, giving away money, you feel like, no, I'm not doing harm, I'm just giving money to support a cause. Well, they went down, and you freeze your asset. I mean, all what nation states are good at, right? The same could happen to us, right? Let's be realistic. So they could order to spy on our client. So we don't do it now. You have to trust that we don't do it, but I tell you, we don't do it. But they could force us to do it, right? That's the reality of the nation state. Obviously, we could go rogue. You never know. Hopefully, that's not going to happen, but you don't know. And we can go bankrupt. We are a business. Maybe we will die tomorrow. I'm working that it's not the case, but you never know. And it's always best to prepare and be ready and know what to do, rather than just delay the time where you will actually be ready. So don't delay. There is just stuff to learn. You are in the good place here to start learning. Keep learning and be prepared for such scenario. And even if these scenarios don't happen, take the steps, because it's good. You will start not trusting us, and it's a good thing for everyone, even for us. Having too many people trusting Ledger is a liability for us, right? So, yeah. And obviously, the Bitcoin culture is very specific. It's one and only in the crypto and even in the world. Run your own node, right? I've seen the hands up who is running already a node. That's good. So we should leverage it, right? We should keep doing more and more stuff with that node. And I will, if you want, I will explain to you what you can do with Ledger Live to leverage this node. And the goal why we are doing this is freedom, right? We want you to be free from us, and be on your own. The code is open source. You can rely on other people if you are not a developer to review it. But yeah, this is why we are delivering this product to the world, so that people can be free. Any questions? Yeah? Yeah.
So maybe some people are uncomfortable, your colleague taking a selfie. In 10 years' time, anyone could see that we are
Yeah.
in a Ledger presentation. So.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question on the mic so everyone can hear?
Yeah.
We're talking about spying and privacy. So your colleague was taking selfies with us. So maybe in 10. Okay, but anyways, yeah, maybe that's a bad idea. So maybe you want to delete it and not share it on social media platforms if other people agree.
I will just show to my mom. Don't worry, I won't post it on Ledger social media. I promise. Okay, I can delete. So.
Good.
Yes.
That's fine. I didn't put a picture on me on the presentation because I don't want my face to be too public. So I understand your concern. Any other questions? Cool. Feel free to stop me. This is a bit technical, but I want to explain what's SatStack. What is the tool that gives you more freedom and that allow you to connect your Ledger Live to your node, right? So on the left-hand side, we have your full node, right? It's for the presentation, I used Umbrel because it's very common. It's used by a lot of people. It's a very famous way to run your own node. So on the left-hand side, we have full node and typically Umbrel, right? Then we have a bridge, and then we have SatStack, which is kind of, you can see it as a translation, right? It translates what Ledger Live needs on the right-hand side into what a Bitcoin full node understands, because the Bitcoin D comes with some features, and actually for the needs of Ledger Live, which is a software that allows you to see balances, to see transactions, what a Bitcoin D does is not optimized for this purpose. So what we do in the middle with SatStack is that we translate the optimized transactions that Ledger Live needs into what a Bitcoin node can understand, right? So we are translating for the purpose of optimizing performances and stuff like that. On the right-hand side, you have the hardware wallet, the actual Nano, you can see here. This is, whenever you need to sign something, typically a transaction, you need the Nano, right? So Ledger Live knows how to talk to a Nano, right? These are both our products, so we are building libraries to allow that communication. Any questions here? No? Cool. So how to SatStack? First, we don't recommend running a node which is not behind Tor, but if this is the case, we have a way which is at the moment it's simple, because if you remove the Tor network, you actually make it fairly easy to communicate between different stacks. So you can go to that link. You just have to type Bitcoin full node ledger on Google or whatever search, and you will find it. I don't recommend not using Tor, because Tor is great for, it increases the privacy and the anonymity on the network. Your ISP might not know exactly you are running a Bitcoin node, this type of things. Tor is not perfect, but I believe it's fair to say that this is probably one of the best tools we have at the moment. If you are running behind Tor, like Umbrel distribution by default, and they don't allow you to change that at the moment, you will be behind Tor, right? And for that, I put up a different article. I called it "Don't Dox Your UTXOs," so you can look it up. And basically, we will go through this article now. And it's a bit different because of Tor, because of the networking and these type of features. So yeah, how do we set stack? How do we stop trusting Ledger? So obviously, first you download Ledger Live from our website. You don't have to dox your IP. You can use a Tor browser to do that. And one of the first action you will have to do is talk to your nano, right? Because your nano that you just bought will know few information that we need. Typically, what are the addresses that you own, basically? So I don't know if you are familiar with the concept of XPub, but the XPub in the UTX world is an information that allow you to derive the accounts. You know, because you need to generate a new account every time you want to receive Bitcoin. So basically, you will ask your nano, and this is directly your laptop talking to your nano, right? Just with the USB-C cable. We made some Python libraries, so you can just ask the nano, okay, nano, for Bitcoin, what are my XPubs, right? So this is the type of information that, you know, it's one single line of code, and the nano will give you your XPub for a given scheme, for example, Taproot, for a given chain, mainnet, and for 5 or 10 or 20 account. Once we have this line, this is the first piece of information that we need, and we will see later what we are going to do with it. And the second information we need is what you will find on your Umbrel or your node. I think it's on bitcoind.conf file if you are not running Umbrel and you are familiar with these files. But Umbrel gives you the UI, and you can select RPC behind Tor, and you get a username, a password, an address. So the address, you can see it's not an IP, it's an onion address, right? Make sure it's an onion address. And you have a port, which is by default 8332. So this information is what you need basically to reach out to the node from the outside, right? So because we will usually Umbrella are stuff that you is a node that you run at home, but nothing prevents you, and I do that sometimes for demo. I just spin up a VM in AWS, I install Umbrel, and here you go, I have a node, right? It's not at home, but I can reach this node from anywhere in the world, right? So we are not relying on being at home. We are just considering that your node is open to the world via the Tor network. And basically what we do is copy-paste. So we copy-paste the information that we had in the previous screen, and we put it in a JSON file, so with some formatting, but this is all well explained on the website. You won't have to guess the format and where to paste it. But as you can see, this is a very simple copy-paste. We take the XPub, we take the URL, we take the user, we take the password, and the two last line are that your proxy, basically SAT-stack, will talk to a Tor daemon, right? So because you need to reach the Tor network, you need to have a Tor daemon running on your laptop. So whether it's Mac OS, Windows, Ubuntu, Linux, whatever, you will have to have Tor installed, right? This is not something that Ledger does, because this is industry standard to have Tor. So we just rely on you to follow the Tor documentation to get that running on your laptop. But this is once again, everybody can do that. Finally, once we have done this very simple configuration file and copy pasting information we found easily, you can start SatStack, right? So this double clicking on an exe or running double clicking on an icon, it's not that hard. What you have to be a little bit is patient because depending on the hardware, it might take some time. So, you know, when I was mentioning that Ledger Live leverage our infrastructure at Ledger, this is also for performance considerations because we are running huge servers with a lot of memories, CPUs, and whatnot. This is to get, you know, fast answers so that the user experience is great, etc. When we are dealing with our own node, usually my node at home is on a Raspberry Pi. We don't spend unnecessary resources to run a node, right? So, for example, when I did this, I prepared for this demo. It took me 10 minutes, right? So you just have to wait 10 minutes, and the first time you start SatStack on your laptop, be patient. It might take 10 minutes. I don't think you can run on a lower hardware than Raspberry Pi. So if you have a better node, better motherboard, it might take 2, 3, 5 minutes. But be aware that it can take some time. It's not a problem. It's a feature, right? So because you will, you are not relying on our infrastructure. You don't trust us. You trust your hardware. So it depends on the hardware you get. And let's try if it. Yes. So I cut the video, right? It's supposed to last 10 minutes, but here you will have to trust me on that one, but at the last line, you will start importing what we call descriptors. So basically we are adapting the wallet that's running on your node to your reality, basically what part of the blockchain you care about, which is the part that are related to your XPub and the address you own, right? Once again, this process takes time. And once again, depending on your hardware, it can take more or less time. So last time I've done it, it took me 6 hours on a Raspberry Pi. Once again, be patient. Usually you don't do this when you are in a rush. You don't, you take your time to go through this tutorial. And when you feel ready, you know that you have some time, but you can go away. You don't have to stay for 6 hours in front of your computer, but it's not fast. But once again, this is due to the beauty of being free and independent of our infrastructure. And once you have done this, so this was only the first time, right? So this is to initialize your node so that he basically indexes the blockchain in a more optimized way for the Ledger Live to talk to it, right? And once we do this for the second time, what SatStack does is that it will check that basically the supply of Bitcoin is what is expected, right? So, what we care in the Bitcoin world, you see it was 19 million at that point in time, this week when I took the screenshot. What we feel is a good first step when we run this software is let's check that the blockchain we are talking to is actually the one that you have the good issuance, right? This is one of the the 21 million cap is of great importance for us Bitcoiners. So we are just checking at the beginning that your node doesn't have any issues regarding the number of Bitcoin it's having, right? So this is maybe in a later feature of a later version of the software, I will remove that step. But at the moment, well, I leave it for now. So once, basically this 8 minutes, yes. So you see on a Raspberry Pi, this is the type of delay patience you have to have. Every time you start SatStack, it will take 5 to 10 minutes to start up, and yeah, this is the cost of relying on your own hardware. If you have a huge server with a lot of RAM and stuff, it will be fast. But basically, this is once this is done, you now have a SatStack, so our piece of software, which is ready, which can be which can communicate with Ledger Live, and you can now stop relying on Ledger infrastructure, and your Live is now talking to SatStack, and after SatStack, your own Bitcoin node. So. Yeah, if no questions so far? Cool, yes?
Can you containerize this and run it like throughout? Oh, sorry. Can you containerize this and run it throughout? Because you have to restart it every time you want to use it, right?
So you can leave it on all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, you can leave it on all the time, and it will only consume resources when Live is asking for a balance, for transaction, for stuff like that.
Awesome.
So at the moment, I don't see the need to counter.
Me neither.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, good point. This once SatStack is started, so it's on your laptop, right? At the moment, it has to be on the same machine as Ledger Live. So we do desktop for now, so all the OS. But basically, yeah, you can leave it running. It won't consume much CPU, RAM, and everything. And every time Ledger Live will need a balance, will need block height, will need whatever it needs, it will just ask SatStack, and SatStack will reply. And yeah, you shut down your laptop, and SatStack goes away, and Ledger Live as well, and we do it again the next day. Cool. Any other questions? Over there?
I have one question, because you showed Umbrel, and I'm quite sure some people here are running Raspberry Blitz. Is it possible?
Yes, of course. So Raspberry Blitz, there is a UI. Last time I checked, there is a menu in which you can edit the config of your Bitcoin D node, and in this config file, you will find the RPC URL, the RPC password, and you will find all these details. So Umbrel just made it look nice in web-based UI, but everything, any way you run Bitcoin D, whether it's Raspberry Blitz or even on your own Bitcoin D, you will have this config file. This is mandatory for Bitcoin to run, and all the information is always in this file.
Thanks for that. And I mean, you're right about Ledger's fantastic, but you do have the vector of state attack against Ledger.
Exactly.
So it's brilliant to do this. I'm just a bit worried about I can see a lot of attack vectors in Tor exit nodes. I mean, setting this up. I guess the ultimate security is that nothing can go out unless the device signs it. Is that really the ultimate fallback? Because I can see a lot of dependencies and a lot of exit nodes and a lot of vectors of attack. I just worry, because Ledger is quite self-contained, whereas if you add in lots of other dependencies, I worry about transactions. So I guess it's just down to the signing on the device, ultimately.
I would say these are different threats, because you're right, Tor can be attacked, it's DDoS, but this is the best we have, right? So we do what we have. Now, why do we use Tor, right? Maybe we don't have to, but the thing is, it's a blockchain, right? So we have to spread the information over the internet, right? So the only way to do it is TCP/IP, and the only way not to do it with revealing your IP is Tor. So we kind of have to use Tor. Now, coming back to the device, for me, here, everything we have discussed so far, is about making Ledger Live talking to your own node, right? To broadcast transaction, to fetch data from the blockchain. Basically, you have not done any transaction yet, right? What happens if you open Ledger Live and you want to do a transaction? Obviously, we will still rely on the nano, right, to sign stuff, right? So, and you know, this is our security model. Maybe I should have started with that, but our security model at Ledger is that any mobile, any desktop can be pwned, right? This is, yeah, I won't remind you the Pegasus and all that, right? It's pwned, it's dead. Don't trust whatever you see on a desktop and a mobile. That's as simple as that. What you have to trust is the secure display on the nano, right? So this is the only screen you can trust, right? Don't trust anything else. If you want to sign transaction, check what the screen says. That's all. That's the only advice I have. And here, there you go. And there is no, there is no non-public attack on the nano, right? So the nano is your safety. It's not your node. It's not the node, and Ledger Live is your freedom, right? It's not the same. It's not your safety. It's your freedom. It's I hope it's clear that what we are trying to achieve here is freedom. It's not security. You already have security because you have a nano, right? So we are not increasing the security. We are increasing freedom, privacy, these type of the spectrum, right? Should I? Yeah, no, is it clear for everyone how we design, the nano is the security. Everything I said here is privacy. It's very important because don't never think that something else than the nano will bring you security. It's false. There is no other way. And obviously, good hardware competition is also very good security. I'm not debating this.
I have a question.
Yes.
I use a Sparrow wallet and use the Ledger only as a signing device. So I never connect it to Ledger Live, so
Yes.
I don't get firmware updates. Is that a problem?
I have to say yes. It's better to get firmware update. It's recommended, and we don't issue firmware update for the pleasure of people having to update it. So we issue for firmware updates for good reason. So it's always we recommend that you keep the firmware. If this is the only usage of Ledger Live that you do, great. Don't use it for anything else. I won't be mad at you. But yes, at least for the firmware update. But obviously, if you only use it for the firmware update, you don't have to broadcast transaction and all that. So you're not your privacy is still safe, right? But yes, it's we do a firmware update also for security reasons. So if you always want to stay on the safest side possible in terms of security, do your firm upgrade. And if you use Ledger Live only for that, fine with me. Use the competition. Use other wallets. There are great tools. You don't have to use Ledger Live for all the features there is in Ledger Live. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Maybe I will just finish and then we finish with questions. Is that fine? Yeah, cool. So this is the last slide. Quickly on the next step, reach out. Here here at the conference, you can see me. Maybe I'll have my Ledger T-shirt or a hoodie with on top of it if I'm called. But reach out if you have any questions or comments. That's the goal. If you are a developer, if you are technical, if you are fine with getting on GitHub, raise an issue. I'm there, okay? So you can reach out to me on GitHub. So it's ledgerhq/satstack. And the next step, so this is our roadmap, right? We want to make Ledger Live Tourware. What I mean by that is we want to prevent you from running a Tor daemon on the side, right? So this is very technical, but the goal is just, make it easier for user. The goal is to make, no command line, no terminal. that's the end goal for that, so that everybody can increase their privacy easier, right? But if you feel like it now, maybe after this talk you feel more comfortable. Try the command lines are very small number. I'm sure you can do it, and I'm here to help you if needed. And maybe that's it. It was a slide.
We're gonna be
Cool.
outside, so we have
Yes.
quite a few extra questions. Don't worry,
Cool.
we're gonna answer them all, but just outside the room so we don't ruin the next presenter.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.